I'm worried about Garten of Banban Last Ticket to the Abyss because it's looking a little too impressive. And with the Euphoric Brothers hiring 3D modelers and concept artists, there's a risk of Garten of Banban losing its visual identity. Let me explain why designing the environments and characters in the future needs to be treaded carefully. I'm not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, but if you were to show me a more obscure monster design from the series and ask me where it's from, I would most likely answer FNAF, because it has a clear design style. Garten of Banban has a clear character design style, one or two colors with a veiny or rough texture, while the body shape normally matches up pretty well to the cartoon artwork design, with maybe a few additional muscles. Now, whether you like that style is up to your opinion, but I would say the character designs have definitely gotten better over time, with better proportions, more little details, damage, and improved topology. Overall, it's a bunch of small little things, but they've gone a long way in making designs look better. But with hiring new 3D modelers, there is a risk that the character designs lose their current stylization and look plain off when next to the older characters, and not in a good way like the hellish designs look when compared to the original forms. The top priority with any new 3D modelers is that they understand and create the basic Banban style and then add from there. I do think having more expertise can help a lot, especially with hellish or damaged designs for characters, or just creating more environmental assets. We will talk about that later. With the journey taking the parent to the abyss, it would make sense that we will see characters who have lived down there their entire lives and are probably beaten and bruised. Such designs could show scarring and maybe even exposed organs to reflect the rough life these characters have lived. The character I want most to get such treatment is Uni Balloony, who could look like a living, rotting corpse. Reversing expectations this way and keeping the design hidden in advertising would give players a great shock moment. In addition, the Abyss could have a lot of corpses from characters that didn't survive life in the Abyss. Scrap character designs like Oscar Star or Humblebee, showing detail that showed how they died, could be those corpses. Outside of the Abyss, there's still the amalgamations. Oh. So this is the part in my original script for this video where I talked about updating the amalgamations as it hasn't physically appeared yet to keep its current body shape but look more nightmarish like Art of Gerald's design. Except it looks like they did just that. This design is exactly the type of stuff I'm talking about. More detail that could be more grotesque but still fits within the already existing style. The few changes I would make is to make its colors duller like the old design and put a little dirt and grime on it. While we're at it, I would like to show off my very bad concept for Banbalena's house form, since she is likely getting one. I don't want it to be a brutish devil, but a stretched out beast, that limbs move in unnatural ways, the skin stretching and tearing so it exposes internal organs. As the skeletal structure exceeds the skin's capacity, the eyes are completely bloodshot with no visible pupils, and are in a giant hole with skin stretching to attach to it. I also worry about the human character either looking too realistic, it's out of place next to everyone else, or being too cartoonish that it just takes everyone out of it. To be fair, it's probably the first one given how detailed the teaser showed these pants and boosts. I just hope we don't actually see this character and that speaker or video footage hiding their face will be the only way they present themselves. Now, with new designs being at their best, what about old designs? If older designs were updated, I would only fix texture errors to make the design smoother overall, and to make them more expressive. Eyebrows, or implied eyebrows, alone do a wonder for making a character feel alive and convey emotion, even without lip syncing, as it's canon that the monsters don't need to move their mouths to speak. Expressions through the mouth, little or big, can also be massive for making the characters more expressive overall. Next up, I'm worried about the design of certain locations. While more details can make better and more impressive environments, it can also make the characters look out of place or uncanny in a bad way. Example, the prison from Garten of Banban 8, which every time I play, I can't help but get distracted by how much more detailed the bricks are than the characters in it. Meanwhile, the walls in the old clinic look detailed enough that it looks good, but not too detailed that the characters look out of place. So the environment should look good next to whatever characters we meet in that place. This not only applies to walls, but objects they interact with. However, these environments should not be empty. They should contain many details that work together to create a central feeling or story. I like to think that every wall should have something on or next to it, from damage and stains to shelves and equipment. To help, the 3D modelers could create new environment assets that look closer to the soft realism that looks good with the character designs. Examples of the soft realism are City Engine, the Kingdom, although it needs more assets, the Old Clinic, and the Gervanium Village. Taking a look at the environments we saw in the teasers, they look good so far, and I think characters could look good in them with some assets being redesigned by 3D modelers. But I think they need more details, so here are my suggestions. The workshop should have different floor and ceiling textures. I'm thinking wood that looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a year would look good for the floor, and it would also add a pop of color. Revealing the trusses on the ceiling would add dimension, giving the impression that the ceiling installation is incomplete. The texture of the ceiling could then be the bottom of the flooring situated above. This other wall also looks plain, so a shelf full of tools or missing bricks that create a hole into the neighboring room, if there is one, could make it feel more alive. For this garden-looking environment, I would suggest having the floor look like it's made of dirt and rocks with stepping stone floors to make it look like the players in a garden when they walk around. I would also add more plant boxes all over the walls for more plant life, alongside some mushrooms growing out of the dirt. This big corner piece could look like a big plant box instead of a strange corner, and the only light in this room would come from that above the plant life, making the center of the room pretty dark. The brothers could curve the ceiling to mimic a greenhouse's top, but they would use materials other than glass or plastic. Or they could use glass and plastic and have more plants or a cave up there. Overall, this environment could look more like a strange underground greenhouse, which would add a lot to its vibe. And that leads to the fact that each environment should match the vibe or mood they want to give. And what I just did is give a feeling to each environment based on what I think they're going for. A dark unfinished basement turned workshop, and a strange unnatural underground garden. One is a bit creepy, and the other is a bizarre and strange. At the end of the day, it's not more detail that the game needs, but the right kind of details, which will make the characters and the environments look good. And that is exactly what I want to see in Garten of Banban Last Ticket to the Abyss. Then it will get the right reactions instead of the wrong reactions. Especially for Uni Balloony if he gets that living, rotting corpse design. So, let me know what you want to see done with designs and environments. And remember to keep on banning.